What's up, guys? Salute. SmackDown 2725, the Amplified Review. It is coming up on this special weekend edition of Amped Up. A whole lot of yeeting, a whole lot of wooing from Charlie Flair. Nia Jax gets an automatic title match with Tiffany Stratton next week, even though Nia did not win the Royal Rumble. So yeah, that makes no sense. And so yeah, we're going to talk about it in this very review. That's all coming up. But a lot of breaking news, guys, over the last 12 hours up front. Last night during SmackDown, strategically done by Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Nick Khan, so that everybody was focused on SmackDown. Pay no attention to what's happening behind the curtain as WWE releases a ton of its talent. Mass releases within World Wrestling Entertainment, a bunch of names last night, and 10 minutes before we started this recording of the SmackDown review, more names have been added. I want to go over these names now with you guys, man, in case you haven't heard anything about it, some details behind it. I'll give you the names we have just found out about, so I'm trying to double and triple verify this, but literally we are about to start the SmackDown review and these names were announced. So I'm just relaying this to you. I will keep a keen eye. I will do my due diligence and keep on top of these. It's a developing story, man. But a lot. This is a big round of releases, guys. A bunch of names last night, even more names now. We expect even more names throughout the day. But here's who we know about thus far. And these names just were announced 10 minutes ago. Isla Dawn, out, removed from the company. We don't know yet about Alba Fire. Is she on the chopping block? Has she also been released? Isla has said, see you in 90. This is a running trend. Cedric Alexander was also released last night. Cedric put the hashtag see you in 90. Isla Dawn has used the same wording, see you in 90. So put two and two together, guys, and she kind of went through her trajectory in her career from NXT to the main roster and she just put question marks, see you in 90. So that's what I mean about the lack of long-term booking and storytelling with Hunter. They were in Scotland, they put the titles on Alba and Isla with no direction. Dropped the titles a month later, were not seen again, and now booted. It's sad to see that, and you talk about sad to see, Blair Davenport was last night, too. We'll get to that, but you talk about not even getting a chance to do anything. A couple matches, but you could tell there was no creative direction. So we always say, hey, let's see what they can do, and it's sink or swim. She never even had a chance to get into the water. But Isla is a recent name. That's one of those I had to kind of take a double take, as well as the Good Brothers. They were just announced to have their release from the company as well. Anderson and Gallows are gone. This is the second time they were released under Vincent Kennedy. Hunter Helmsley brought them back, I believe, but it was just to catch a paycheck every week. I mean, he brought them back. Literally, they were not used for anything, or barely. They were there to collect a paycheck, and then they got booted. That was so weird. But Anderson and Gallows are gone from what we are hearing, guys. Also, Giovanni Vinci, gone, booted from the company, released. That's a sad one, because when Ludwig and Gunther stayed over on Raw, Giovanni goes to SmackDown. You were hoping for the best. They played some vignettes, had some video packages. You thought they were going to do something special with Giovanni. Then all of a sudden he has that match where he lost in like 10 seconds, and you were like, uh-oh. Writing isn't good on the wall. Sure enough, Giovanni was not used after that and then booted. Or at least that's what we are hearing right now as of this recording. Giovanni Vinci, Isla Dawn, Good Brothers, Anderson, and Gallows all released. And we expect more names to be announced as well. Most have already been released. We just have not gotten word of it yet. I want to switch gears to last night's announcements, though, the releases that we found out about during SmackDown. So last night we found out that the aforementioned Cedric Alexander was released. Again, he put up a good post about just thanking the fans for 8.5 years, and it was hard to fathom that he was there for 8.5 years, because Doesn't feel that way. Doesn't feel like he had a lot of monumental moments in 8.5 years. You know, can he join Shelton, MVP, and Bobby Lashley, his good buddies over in AEW? Of course, over in Hurt Syndicate. But it's just, man, to fathom 8.5 years. I don't think WWE ever saw him more than just a good hand, a dude that can do some cool moves, and that was it. And I don't think he ever truly impressed them more than that. But 8.5 years, that's a damn good run. But I don't think WWE is his be-all, end-all. Again, not that AEW needs more people, trust me. But obviously this fits with the syndicate. But Cedric Alexander gone. Also, the aforementioned Blair Davenport released. And it just reminded me of Chelsea Green when she got called up, wasn't used, didn't look like there was a plan, and then was released. And I'm like, whoa, thankfully Chelsea got another chance. With Blair, we saw her for a couple matches, but it never connected because I never felt she should have been called up yet. Because I just knew there was not a plan, and Blair needs a plan. She just can't have random matches with Naomi, which is what happened. And then she wasn't even used again on TV, and then she was just booted. So I always feel bad when I feel like the talent never even got a chance to sink or swim. Give him a chance to sink, if that's what's going to happen. Blair Davenport's gone. Cedric is gone. Sonya Deville released from the company. This one I had to do a double take. I'm like, Sonya, wow. Like, if you would have told me a couple years ago that Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville would both be out of the company, I would have said you done fallen on your dome piece too many times as a kid. But Sonya and Mandy, gone. And Sonya just last night. It's wild because you feel like she should have been so much more. You remember when she was in that GM role or sidekick to the GM, whatever that was, but she was in like an authority role. And you really saw that she's more than just a hand in the ring. Personal issues and injuries, they kind of mounted, and I guess WWE looked at her more of a liability than a reliability. But Sonya's one of those names I had to do a double, even a triple take. Like, damn, Sonya's gone. And what does that say for, just like I said with Isla, now is Alba going to follow suit? What about Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark? Zoe is not to where they were hoping she would be. Lack of good creative and booking will do that. But there's still that lack of fan connection with Zoe. And poor Shayna Baszler. She has gotten nothing from Vincent Kennedy and even less than Hunter Helmsley somehow. So it's almost like when you look at Shayna these days, it's almost like she's going through the motions. Like this is the last place she wants to be is in that ring. I've been saying for a while, it's unfortunate, but is that just it for Shayna Baszler? Is she just checked out? Because creative clearly doesn't want to give her anything. And she just doesn't look like she's caring anymore in that ring. So is Shayna a part of these names? We just don't know about it yet. But Sonya Deville, the leader of PFC, Pure Fabricated Conundrum, or whatever it is, I'll never get that right. But the leader of that group, Das booted. You want to talk about groups imploding from these releases? What about the Final Testament booted last night? Not Carrion, not the leader Carrion and Scarlett, but the bulk of it. AOP and Paul Ellering released, gone as of last night. Guys, AOP and Paul Ellering. Then what was the point of the Wyatt matchup in the middle of a Monday Night Raw where the Wyatts lost looking up at the lights? You remember Uncle Howdy with the baby powder losing to Final Testament? And this is why I say stop with the Hunter long-term storytelling and booking. No, he doesn't. He's short-term box books. He goes for the short term. This is what he always does. So he had Final Testament and Wyatt 6 have their culminating match and moment in the middle of a Raw. Had Final Testament go over the Wyatts clean. Baby powder to Uncle, come on. In fact, baby powder. So yeah, that's pretty clean, right? Baby powder's clean. The point is, all jokes aside, all right, whether you want to call it clean or not, BC was baby, but yes, but it's Uncle Howdy. That character got taken out by baby powder. It was just weird. It was bizarre. And the placement of it. But people are like, oh no, don't worry. Trust me, BC, man, Hunter's got a bigger play. Watch. Wyatts and Final Testament, they're both going to propel after this. Guys, the Wyatts weren't even seen after that. I think Dexter Lumis had a singles match against Miz maybe the week later, 2 weeks. That was it. The Wyatts were gone. Then they quietly got moved to SmackDown. So you say, okay, well, at least Final Testament got a big rocket after that W. No, they didn't. They were gone too. Nobody saw them after that, basically. And then they got booted. Nothing propelled from that match. Why would you do it then if you had no plans for it? This is why Hunter has to stop, take a beat, think about what he's doing. Because the Wyatts have been destroyed in all of this, and Final Testament has been rendered useless to the point where the group has just imploded. AOP and Paul Ellering gone. And trust me, we're not oversaturating the what Authors of Pain meant to WWE, right? It's not fake outrage. Nobody's outraged from it. Maybe AOP is outraged. They just got canned. But nobody's outraged. It's just we're befuddled by the bizarre, pathetic, pointless booking. Like, looking back at it, if this is what all roads led to, then why would you even get on that road? Why would you even book like this? This is a big reason why a lot of fans can't get behind the Jey Uso thing. Most people respect the dude. We're happy for the dude himself. But the booking doesn't make sense. So a lot of us are not just going to yeet our way to Mania to have Yeetamania. You know, we need more substance behind it. The booking sucked. It was 50-50 booking for Jey Uso. Then he gets pinned by Gunther looking up at the lights a week before the Rumble. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, wins the Rumble just to get to the same match we saw at Saturday night's. The booking sucks. If the booking was better for Jey Uso, we'd be behind it. Kofi Kingston was actually booked good by Vincent Kennedy McMahon around Kofi Mania. Say what you want about Vince. I totally get it. I understand. But Kofi Mania was booked really good. That was the true Rocky underdog story. Because it was booked correctly. The Yes Movement and Daniel Bryan had a real badass story. It was him versus the establishment. There's no story with Jason Uso. It's just weird booking. And yeet. That's the problem. Salute if you're loving this and you're yeeting every single Monday and Friday. That's cool, man. For you. But don't be shocked and stunned that a lot of us are just not behind this because we need more substance. We just want good booking. AOP is one of those names I heard on this release sheet that I was like, what? And I started thinking about all the weird booking that just led to their release. It's so odd. So guys, mass releases and a lot of question marks as to how this could have even happened. A lot of these talents you could say, good, whatever, but that's the problem. WWE is always on to the next instead of focusing on what they have. The ID program, making sure their label is on every single school. The NXT developmental system. A relationship with TNA Wrestling to try to get some new talents. The NIL program, trying to get all the college athletes. What about the ones you have now? Quality over quantity. Too many asses on that ship is not going to make the ship sail. It's going to sink. Close off that ship. There's no reason a lot of these talents should be not given even chances or not given airtime. Work with what you have. Try to get creative. Have fun with it. They take the easy way out. But I thought it was record revenue, by the way, right? They're always bragging. Hunter Helmsley is always, Nick Khan, Ari, they're always talking about record revenue and how business is booming. But here you are having to cut a bunch of people to cut costs. Well, BC, that's business. Okay. Then also business is like giving good creative to try to put the best possible product out there. And you do that by having the best possible presentation of your characters. There's a crazy concept. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys, man. That's the releases thus far. We expect more. I have several screens popping off for you guys. So any breaking news while we are going over the SmackDown review, I will relay that info in real time. As of this recording anyway. So any news that pops up, guys, I got my notes over here. I got anything breaking over here. So we're good. I got you covered. So with that said, swig of coffee, we'll get into SmackDown 2/7/25. But again, I will be keeping a key eye on any releases while this recording is underway. We started this show off, SmackDown 2/7/25, with 10 minutes of straight eating. 10 minutes of legit yeeting. I never thought there'd be an entrance longer than The Undertaker or Roman Reigns. But here's Jey Uso. 10 minutes. It's almost getting to the level where I just got to mute the TV like I did with the Sethington sing-along. And now we do this new thing where when the music finally stops, the crowd chants, one more time, one more time. And then all of a sudden, Jey cues up the music and we do 2 more minutes of yeeting. And I understand the live crowd is having fun, right? I mean, they paid a ton of money. They just want to get out of the house to have a good time, and they just want to dance, right? That's the new fan today, just wants to dance and just have fun. They don't care if things make sense. They don't care about substance. They want to yell, "This is awesome," every match, 2 minutes into the match. They want to yell, "You deserve it," for everybody that wins a title. They don't even care if they've been there for a cup of coffee. Braun Breaker, they chanted it. Gunther, they chanted every time he gets a title. They don't care. You deserve it. And they just want to dance, all right? Sethington sing-along, 10 minutes. I had to start muting the TV for Sethington. Now the Yeet, right? 10 straight minutes, then a little pause, then we did 2 more minutes. Then Cody Rhodes came out, thankfully. Break up the yeeting. And this was pointless. This was all meaningless, guys. Jey Uso looks at Cody and says, "I can try to take your title at Mania, or I can stand next to you as co-champions," meaning taking Gunther's. And BC's like, "Yes, Jey, that's your option, man. Why are you telling..." Cody's looking at him like, "Yes, Jey, that's how this goes, man. You can pick Gunther or you could pick me. We're live, Jey. Anything else you got to say?" Jey just goes over the obvious. So then Cody says something just as pointless. Cody's like, we've drank a lot of libations here in Memphis, and we can do it again." And he shakes Jey's hand in mutual respect. And I'm like, did I miss something in this promo? Why are we talking about drinking libations in Memphis? What does this have to... How is this fun? What is this setting up for the night? And then here comes Tama Tonka Truck and Jacob Fatu. And it's exactly what I told you guys in yesterday's upload, right? And that's not good. It's not a pat on the back. It's not validation. It's not, "Oh, look, we were right again." I don't want to be. But when you hear about what's going on in the show, when you check out the preview, it's so sad that we already know what's going to happen before it happens, because that's the redundancy in this company. This is what I said yesterday, hours before SmackDown even went live. And it'll lead to nothing, because Jay's going back to Raw to take on Gunther. So I don't know. I mean, they could make a weird tag team match, right? Jey and Cody versus like Tama Tonka Truck and Jacob Fatu. And it's truly not one of those things where you like pat yourself on the back like, "I called it." No, I always call it. That's what sucks about the product today. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's so just redundant, and it's like, I just wish that we didn't know what was going to happen, right? I mean, you hear what they're promoting and you just go, "Oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. That's stupid." And that's the show. And then the show goes live, and that's what happened. That happened. That was stupid, and the show's over. I mean, if people didn't get released last night from the company, we would have had no big storylines to talk about. The storyline is what happened IRL. The DOS booting from the company of actual superstars. I told you guys that was going to be the main event, man. Jay's going to it's two faces. They're going to do the most lamest shit, and they're just going to have a tag team match with Tonka Truck and Fatu. That's what happened. So, but when it was all said and done, this first segment, no lie, guys, 30 minutes was done. 25 up front, then we went to a commercial. I mean, the better part of 30 minutes was gone from the show. And alls we did was yeet, and Cody and Jay showed mutual respect for one another. And then they set up the main event, which was Tonka Truck and Fatu versus the Faces. A half an hour, man, from the jump. That's the most creative you had? That's the problem we have. Come on, man. And that's another reason why, like, a lot of us fans, we can't do a yeet thing for the next 2 months, man. It's got to be more substance than just the crowd in attendance yeeting. And on Monday nights, Pat McAfee screaming, "I'm yeeting all over the front row. I'm climaxing." And all the little juvenile jokes with Michael Cole. I hope you guys understand. If you're cool with it, man, salute. I ain't ripping you. That's your cup of coffee. That's your cup of coffee. I like Jey Uso, so have at it. But just don't be stunned. Don't be shocked, and understand why a lot of us, we do not want to be yeeting like this a half an hour every show, man, going to Mania. Just understand why this is not fun for us. Understand why Jey Uso just doesn't connect as a singles wrestler to that level. That's what I would ask. If that's your cup of coffee, cool. Congratulations. You're going to get what you desire. He's going to win the title. You're all going to eat for a half an hour at Mania. I just hope we're not going to do this every show going. Are we just doing this? My goodness, I can't even fathom that. I had to mute the TV when Sethington's sing-along got obnoxiously long. 10 minutes every show. Thank goodness that died down. How's that for honesty? No? I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way as PC, man. It just, this ain't it for us. First matchup of the night was a women's chamber qualifier. Bianca Belair pins Piper Niven via KOD pinfall in 8 minutes. Not much more to talk about here. They tried to make a big deal out of the KOD because it's Piper Niven being lifted up. And it's cool, and it's power for Bianca, but problem is we've seen that 10 times in the past. Same two individuals, same move. So, come on. Again, it's redundancy. I think they're banking on so many fans just being okay with it and letting it fall to the wayside, forgetting about it, or just making themselves forget about it. I'm just going to watch it like it's new. And then there's a lot of us fans that are like, dude, I've seen this 10 times. We get it. You can lift up Piper. Again, 8 minutes, KOD, Bianca moves on to the chamber. Piper Niven, not so lucky. So Nick Aldis then declares Pretty Lively will face DIY in a non-title match. And if Pretty wins, then they get a title shot. So think about that. Pretty Lively gets to take on the champions. If they win, they get to take on the champions for the championships. Vince McMahon used to do this all the time, and it's so damn frustrating. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley is carrying on the tradition. You get a title match by beating the champions. And the prize at the bottom of the Cracker Jack box is we get to see the same exact match again. That's the prize at the end of the... you already see the match itself, the challengers and the champions. Obviously, Pretty is most likely winning. And then we all have to see the same exact match again. Why not just build a storyline? And then when they actually face each other for the first time for the titles, wouldn't that be more meaningful? Like people would actually want to see the match? It's, of course, Lively wins the match. Lively defeats DIY. So what am I saying? They did have the match immediately after Aldis declared it. Lively wins. And the blonde one, I don't know, what's his name? Prince Alfonso? Prince Bambino? What the dude? The blonde one, right? Prince Alfonso? Prince Alonso. Alfonso. I think it's Prince something. The blonde one of Pretty Lively. He pins Tommaso Ciampa. Rolls him up, holds the ropes. Could Ciampa look any worse? Ciampa's sitting there. He's rolled up. Lively, the blonde one, is just like holding the Prince Emilio. He's just holding the rope. He's like, la, la, la. Referee is in cloud. Now, referee's not even doing his job. He doesn't even care. He's just counting. He's just like, oh, man, Natty's knockers. Those are nice. He's not even looking. Tommaso's screaming. He can't get one of his shoulders a centimeter off. Tommaso looks like a fucking clown. You can give him 10 titles. This type of booking makes Tommaso look like an idiot. Before this match, him and Johnny Gargano tried to do a comedy promo. Johnny's good at it. Tommaso, again, no. What the heck happened to ruthless Tommaso? That was the end of hour number 1, guys. We yeeted for a half an hour. Bianca defeated Piper Niven in a rematch of a rematch of a rematch. And Pretty Lively defeated the champions of the world, DIY. Just to get to another match between the same two teams. Hour number 2. This was a triple threat qualifier for the dudes for the Elimination Chamber. Mac versus LA Knight versus Jim Uso. Big Jim, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight. Wait, what? Why is it a triple? Whoa. Am I the only one asking this? Monday Night Raw, the ladies just everyone's having a one-on-one qualifier. Why is this a triple threat? And then next week they declare Damian Priest, Braun Strowman, and Jacob Fatu in a triple threat Elimination Chamber qualifier. So where are these triple threats coming out of the blue? That's unfair to these. Why would they have to have a triple threat? Everyone else is having one-on-ones. This was weird. There's no explanation to this. There was promos beforehand. Mac calls Jimmy Jay. I thought that was really funny. Listen, Jay. I mean Jimmy. And then McIntyre tells Jimmy, he says, that must upset you now that I think about it. He says, you and Jay are exactly the same in everything. So just think, if you said yeet first, you would have been in his position. I thought that was great. McIntyre calling out the fact that the yeet is what really propelled Jey Uso, which we all know, obviously. We just respect Jay, and a lot of people like Jay, so a lot of people are happy for the dude and just letting it slide. Having him punch his ticket to Mania and possibly win a championship. But we all know, man, if that yeet didn't come around, come on, it's Jey Uso, man. So Drew actually called that out, man. If you did the yeet first, you would have been in that spot. I thought that was good. Damn, BC was thinking. That was ruthless. And then, yeah, I can't believe that, man. That dude said that bone is all yeet and no meat. Fucking Mac. So anyway, guys, Night comes down. Night makes reference to the Drew McIntyre storming out of the Mania or Royal Rumble, right? McIntyre stormed out. And what we heard in reports was LA Knight was kind of the focus of Drew McIntyre being pissed off. LA Knight was reportedly gone into business for himself in the Rumble. And LA Knight was kind of doing all of these things when there should have been eliminations. Damian was supposed to eliminate Drew McIntyre, but LA Knight was like doing all these things which prevented that from happening when it should have happened. So all of this thing kind of centered around Knight. So then Knight's cutting his promo and he's calling Drew Cryentire or McIntyre. Drew McIntyre. I don't know. He's calling him a bunch of names. He's making reference to Drew always bitching, complaining, crying, this and that. And so there was a little bit to that story from the Rumble. So that was a good promo as well. The match itself, Mac pins LA Knight, so that was telling, man. If that story is fully accurate from the Rumble or not, McIntyre pinned LA Knight like a little bit of punishment for Knight. You're going to look up at the lights, bro. You cost LA or Drew McIntyre this spot in the Rumble. This was a big moment in the Rumble for Drew. You fucked it up. You botched. So now you just look up at the lights for Drew. It almost seemed like that. Now, again, they could turn this into a story. I wouldn't mind seeing Drew and LA Knight for a Mania match. If done correctly, that's the key phrase. If done correctly. But maybe this was the start of that. The problem is we just saw LA Knight pinned by Drew McIntyre. So now you're going to have to work extra hard to create a fun story that's going to make us want to see the two together. But that's it. McIntyre is going to the Elimination Chamber. And I like the way this finish was done. While LA Knight was hitting a BFT to Jim Uso, literally simultaneously while the BFT was being hit on Jimmy, a Claymore was hit by Drew to LA Knight. And that was so it was a simultaneous BFT Claymore. Really cool finish. I love when they get creative and it's an actual knockout move. Not you're just holding somebody down in a roll-up. That's totally not realistic. So yeah, good finish there. Drew Mac. So now your 3 is Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Jonathan Cena for the Chamber so far. And then Melo pinned to Tozawa, guys. Tozawa from Raw. Yes, you're like, wait, Tozawa? They made this weird thing where, like, I guess Adam Pearce called Nick Aldis and said, hey, I'm sending over Tozawa. Can you put him in a match with Melo? Because Melo took his spot in the Rumble. So in a weird way, this actually made sense. But more importantly, guys, I just love the concept. I've been telling you guys for weeks and even months this one thing, did I not? And this shows you, oh, they're listening, guys, because WWE made the adjustment. I've been telling you guys that Everybody Melo is in there with, backstage, promos, wrestling, they all just look so big. And I understand that Melo is a smaller individual, but it just looks, the optics are so bad. And then on top of that, you have the fact that he's losing every match. While that on one hand is realistic because he's so small, on the other hand, it's also not doing anything for him. So I've been saying for weeks and weeks now, he just looks so small with all these. Is there a way that you can change the optics? Guys, they did it last night. They brought in somebody smaller than Melo. They brought in something more realistic where now Melo can even figuratively and subconsciously be more of the beast. And that's what happened. And Tozawa got beat 1, 2, 3. Melo pins Tozawa. So it's just very smart putting him in there with someone smaller than him. It's those little things, guys, that are huge in the grand scheme of it all. And that goes to show you, I've been saying this for weeks and weeks, even months. They finally made the and that's what you want to do. Actually make Melo look like a superstar. But you can't do that if he's constantly in there with dudes like Orton and Strowman and everybody. Nobody's believing that little Melo is doing any damage. Build him up first. Then you can have him in there and at least he's built up that equity. And have him in there with the bigger dudes. So even though this was it comes across as a small victory, literally and figuratively for Melo. This was actually a huge victory because of what it does in the long term. And then we ended hour number 2 with a KO in-car promo from KO to Sami Zayn. KO in his car, and he's just talking about how Sami Zayn, he just let Cody do whatever he wanted, basically try to end his career. At the Rumble, and then he saw Sami come to the aid of Roman Reigns later in the night. Why would you come to Roman's aid and not mine? You're a terrible friend. You're a horrible friend. This, that, and the other thing. But it was a good promo, and it made sense to the point where it didn't make sense. And what I mean by that is you already know you guys are not friends like that anymore because that's the story you've told for 10 years in WWE. You've had 942 matchups. You've been friends, you've been enemies, you become friends again, you become enemies again, you loved, you hated, you've had 1,000 different type of, or 942 matches, sanctions and different stipulations. And here we are in 2025 and you're shocked that you and Sami don't get along like you used to in NXT? And way before that? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you know their history, it wouldn't make sense that Kevin Owens is this frustrated. If they had never turned on one another, if they have not had the history that they had, facing and fighting each other, then this would work. If they were friends all along, for instance. But this doesn't work anymore. Again, this company loves for you to just forget stuff. Like, you can't forget their history. And now all of a sudden, Kevin is shocked that Sami didn't come to his aid. It just doesn't make sense, guys. So it made sense to the point where I was with him when he was like, oh, you didn't come to my aid, but you came to Roman's. But then when he really hit home that he's a horrible friend, that's when I was like, yeah, wait, we've already done this story between you two several times. That you're not a good friend, now we're going to go to war. So that was hour number 2. McIntyre over LA Knight and Jim Uso. Melo pins Tozawa, and KO is not happy in his car with Sami Zayn. I'm checking too, guys. I still do not see any other releases that are confirmed yet. Again, we do believe that Isla, based on what Isla has said 10 minutes before we started recording, that Isla has also been released. But I am checking for you guys. A couple windows open, so we're going to have to see. I'll keep checking, like I said. More uploads to come if we hear more viable names, man. Reputable names that get released. That would call for a separate upload for sure. Let's go to the third hour. Charlie Flair is going to start this hour. So Charlie is to the ring. She starts trying to bash all of the fans who just literally do not want to see her, period. You know, it's old school. A lot of people like to call it, it's not heel heat per se. It's just go away heat. We don't want to see you literally. And that's sad to say, but that's how badly she's been booked for 10 years. So, you know, she's getting the boos and she starts, it's smart to play into it. The problem is we've seen this this is what I mean. This is not new. She's always done this. She comes back after a hiatus. She gets a round of applause because she just came back and fans are like, hey, it's Charlie. Then she instantly gets booed. So then she instantly turns into a heel and she starts bashing the fans and saying, you can boo me, but you know you boo me because you care and I'm the best. And so this is what I mean. It's just the same thing. So yeah, it's smart to play into it, but we're just doing the same thing. She's already a heel now doing the robotic promos. And last night, she's like, I live rent-free because everyone is always talking about her last name. Everybody is talking about how many titles she's won. Everybody is talking about the plastic surgery that she's had and her looks. Which, again, is sad. Women have to stop doing things to their face that they're just destroying themselves. You're all beautiful. Stop it. Stop. They have to stop. I can't even recognize some of these females anymore. It is getting so sad, and I know it must be some type of complex that they have, or some type the wires are not connecting, and they don't feel beautiful, or they feel they have to change things. It's the entertainment industry, so there's always this constant pressure. But it's got to stop. For some reason, it has ripped through the wrestling world. And there were so many females that were so beautiful. And they're basically just mutilating themselves. Stop it. Cut the shit. So she actually makes reference to all that. Everybody's talking about titles and my last name. How many titles I won. My last name. How I look. My appearance. And she's going over everything. And I'm like, well, then stop. That's the time for you and Hunter and everybody to get together and go, well, this is always happening. For 10 years, this has been the case. Damn. Did we even get 10 years of Hulk Hogan? Book like that? I think we did, right? 9 years. WrestleMania 10 was, what was it, Bret Hart and Owen? Lex Luger, Yoko? And then it became Bret and Yoko, and Bret won the chance. That was WrestleMania 10's like whole main event scene. WrestleMania 9, Hulk Hogan came back kind of last minute. Was in a tag team match with Brutus Beefcake, but then somehow the event ended with him winning the title over Yoko. That's what happened there. But that wasn't even 10 complete years. This is 10 straight years of Charlie. So technically, you could say they're booking Charlie Flair better than Hulk Hogan, dude. Hulkamania. Charlotte's got 14 of these fucking titles. She's always in these top spots. She's about to win as many, if not more, Rumbles than Hogan. Has she already? How many Rumbles has she won? A couple at least. I can't fathom that they're listing all of this once again in a promo, right? Right? This is their way to go, see, we heard everything and we're just going to use it back on you. But you've done this so many times in the past. How about just changing Charlie Flair into something that we want to see? That doesn't mean her face. Cut that shit out. All of y'all. That's gotta stop. You're all beautiful. Just know that, man. Inside and out. There's your inspirational message, ladies. You're beautiful. I don't even like makeup on ladies, man. You don't even need makeup. You know, I always say a woman's greatest enemy is literally themselves most of the time, looking in the mirror. Because unfortunately, they're seeing things that are just not there. You know, they're hating on themselves. So Charlie's out there. She says, we're living rent free. You're always talking about this, and this, and I don't even care. Love me or hate me. It's going to create cash. She's talking about. You know, at that point, BC was literally thinking it's actually sad that both Royal Rumble winners, Jey Uso and Charles Flair, they both had to cut promos addressing backlash to their wins. Right? Because that's how many people were against these decisions. More people for Charlie, for sure. At least more people are on board with Jey because they like him, they respect him. They're like, all right, whatever. I'll eat until it gets really old. But Charlie, for sure. But that's what happened, right? Jay on Raw talking about how many people were against these decisions, how many, everyone saying he's just a tag team guy, everybody talking about how he's not a main eventer. Jay, of all people, winning the Rumble is silly, right? Jay actually had to put that in a promo. That's what the writing staff put in there for him. Charlie talking about a whole laundry list of why people don't want to see Charlie. It's sad that both Rumble winners, their first promos, or for Charlie, one of her first, has to be addressing all of the backlash and so many fans not being on board with these decisions. That tells you something, guys, does it not? That's when you know you probably botched the calls. Probably shouldn't have been Charlie and Jey Uso. If you have to explain yourself and actually spend time talking about the backlash from it, you probably didn't make the right calls. Tiffany Stratton comes out, big Tiffy time chant. Charlie says, when I faced Rhea, I saw a kid, but when I see you, Tiffany, I see a child. Tiffany then pleads for Charles to pick her. Nia Jax comes out. Nia says she's facing Tiffany for the women's title next week. And Charlie says, what'd Charlie say? Charles says, I'm going to stick around for that next week to see Nia versus Tiffany for the title. And see who I'll be facing at Mania, because it could be Nia Jax. Wait a second. Whoa. Hold up. Then what was the point of the Royal Rumble, guys? Nia Jax didn't win the Rumble. How is Nia Jax getting an instant title shot? Wasn't Nia in the Rumble? She got eliminated. So why would the person who won have to wait several months? Nia just walked into the ring and told Tiffany, by the way, I have a match with you next week for the title. What the fuck? Come on, guy. How does that make sense? I'm gonna enlighten you. It doesn't at all. Are they really gonna do this, guys? Do you think that Hunter is actually somehow going to have a schmozzy finish next week? And to try to protect, because there's huge backlash, right? We already know Hunter wants Charles to beat Tiffany for the title. Problem is Tiffany just got it. She hasn't had a real reign yet. So you're literally doing her filthy at Mania by dropping the title to Charles. Do you think there's so much backlash already? And Hunter doesn't want to book Charles bad. So do you think this is Hunter's way to try to save face for Tiffany and Charles by having Nia in the match to take the L? Because this would be the 8,456th time we've already seen Nia in that position. But do you think that's what they're setting up? This weird title match out of nowhere, which doesn't make sense, and it renders the Royal Rumble useless, meaningless. Do you think this is all just to set up a triple threat for Mania? Somehow Nia's involved, so that Tiffany can save face a little and not take the actual L. But Charles still walks away with all her pyro, her 15th title, and all the headlines. I'm just asking the question. Because this is so stupid. Main event, Cody Rhodes and Jay Yeaterman defeat Fatu and Tonga Truck. Cody pins Tama via Crossroads. That's it. That's what I had in my notes. It's just a tag match. That's all. I mean, a weird tag match. Cody pins Tama. Post-match, Solo Sikoa hits the ring. I love how somebody like, Solo returns. Solo returns from what? The buffet? Solo, he hasn't been gone for that long to say he returned from anything. Solo comes back, delivers a solo spike to Cody Rhodes to end the show. Guys, honest question here. It's WrestleMania season, right? Royal Rumble's gone. It's WrestleMania season. We're 2 months away. Solo Sikoa is ending the show, Samoan spiking Cody. We've already seen them face each other a dozen times. Why is that ending how is that getting anybody excited for the Chamber, much less WrestleMania, much less next week to tune in? Solo and Cody is what we're still doing? And that's your SmackDown 2/7/25 review. If you're wondering why the releases are so vividly taking over the headlines over anything that happened on the show. That's why. The show didn't make any sense. None of it made sense. Charlotte doing her same routine, listing every single reason why people don't want to see her and acting like it's just part of the shtick, it's part of the character, and we're all just having fun with it. We're not. You listing back why we don't want to see you is not fun. Nia being added to a title match more than likely, right? Nia getting a title match when she didn't even win the Rumble. So she loses the Rumble and a week later she's rewarded a title match. Doesn't make sense. A half an hour dedicated to yeeting. And Solo ending the show spiking Cody yet again. Pretty Lively has to beat the champions last night. And their reward is now they get the champions for the titles. So we've already seen the match. What the... That's it. I'm just stopping right there, man. 44 dive. That is a wrap. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC in the unit saying salute. Not yet. No yeet. Salute. There you go. Guys, I'll be on top of all these releases. We expect more to be coming in, so if there's enough names or like vivid enough, reputable, huge names, we will absolutely cut another upload. So just stay locked on the channel, subscribe, notified, all the good stuff. Smash the up, help out the algorithm. You guys know the deal. All right, that's it. BC out. Salute.